What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Oscar Rivas versus Ryan Rozicki, and this was a 12-rounder for the vacant WBC Bridgerweight World Championship. And this fight was Friday, October 22nd, from the Olympia Theatre in Montreal, Canada. And this fight was broadcasted on ESPN Plus and Fight TV. And in this fight, Oscar Rivas was able to get a hard-fought unanimous decision victory over Ryan Rozicki. And what a fight this was. I had it scored 115 to 112 in favor of Oscar Rivas. The judges scored the bout 116 to 111 in favor of Rivas. And the other two judges scored the bout 115 to 112 in favor of Rivas, agreeing with my scorecard. As I mentioned before, this was an outstanding fight. Definitely a fight of the year contender. Ryan Rozicki impressed me and really surprised me. I really thought it was going to be an easy win for Rivas, although it started to get a little bit better for Rivas later on because of Rozicki's stamina issues, because he hadn't gone past 6 rounds going into this fight. But, this was a great learning experience for Rozicki, and really, his career only goes up from here, and same with Rivas, now that he's a world champion. But just to break down the fight, or just to list moments in the fight, big moments, especially with points being deducted because there was in the 12th round, wobbles, and etc. In the first round, Ryan Rozicki did get wobbled after starting out pretty strong and making it competitive. And, the whole fight was the same aside from a couple rounds. It was really just both fighters meeting each other at the center of the ring, and really just, it was like an old school brawl. This was an outstanding fight. No one was moving around the ring, not engaging in the action. Both fighters were just coming forward head first, throwing punches. And, this was definitely a fight to remember. What a fight. And, it's the first ever Bridgerweight title fight, and it definitely paid off. Excellent fight this was. Unlike what I expected. I thought it was going to be an easy knockout for Rivas, but much more hard fought and much more of a meaningful fight as well. But at the end of that first round, as I mentioned before, Rivas wobbled Rozicki with a combination. I believe it was a 1-2, followed by a hook or an uppercut. And then, after the first 2 rounds, I had Rivas ahead, and then Rozicki started to land some good combinations, and it started to look like that Rivas was getting tired, and Rozicki just dominated Rivas from rounds 3 to 4. But then 5 and 6 and 7 were just rounds where Rivas looked like he was just the more fresher guy. I don't know if those 2 rounds that he sort of lost pretty clear to Rozicki capitalized with that, with his stamina, but he looked good in some of the middle rounds. Rivas did, and won a decent majority of them. But then later on, Rozicki started to make the fight a bit more competitive up until the championship rounds 11 and 12. Rozicki, he looked a bit more tired, obviously, and he started to really get hit a lot more. And then in the 12th round, it was pretty competitive, except when towards the end, Rivas started to really come forward a lot more, as opposed to that 11th round where he was really boxing Rozicki and actually landed some good combinations and actually hurt Rozicki and knocked his head back with a up jab followed by an overhand right. And then more into that 12th round with the point deduction that I mentioned earlier, Rivas was warned many times, same with Rozicki, for hitting low. Both fighters were just on the inside throwing shots wherever it landed, on the arms, the shoulder, the head, the body, wherever. They were just throwing leather. And, Rivas hit Rozicki with the low blow. Referee deducted a point. I don't really see anything wrong with that. Both fighters were warned many times throughout the fight. But, ultimately Oscar Rivas getting this victory. What is next for him? Becoming the new WBC Bridgerweight World Champion. He is a world champion. This isn't like an interim title or a regular title where it's really like debating whether it's an actual title. This is a world title, recognized by the WBC, obviously, one of the main sanctioning bodies in boxing right now, one of the most popular as well, and with one of the most popular looking belts. More onto what is next for Rivas. I think he's either going to face one of 3 opponents. He's either going to face Brian Jennings, who was his original opponent in this fight. He could either face maybe Lukas Rozanski, who just won the international title in the Bridgerweight division, or he could possibly face anyone from like an Evgeny Romanov, who just won, I believe, an eliminator or the silver title, either of the two, against Dmitry Kudryashov, which is obviously the Bridgerweight eliminator. So, he could fight any of those top contenders, or who knows, maybe he could rematch Rozicki, since Rozicki only had like 3 or 2.5 weeks to train for this fight. I wonder how he will do in a full camp, but I'm pretty sure they'll just they'll move Rivas forward into a rematch with Bryant Jennings like it was originally supposed to, or an Evgeny Romanov fight, or a Lukas Rozanski fight, as I mentioned before. But as for Ryan Rozicki, what a performance by him. Although he did lose, I mean, he put up an outstanding effort, fought way better, showed more heart, had an outstanding chin, and he was the far smaller man. I mean, really, I mean, instead of, you usually hear fighters say they really had to eat less, they had to work out more, they had to drink a lot of water to lose weight, lose water weight, and whatever, all the weight training stuff. But no, Ryan Rozicki was saying that he's sick of eating. He said to one of the reporters in the commentary team, he was saying that he had to eat so much for this camp to bulk up to a sort of 200-pound limit, because he usually comes in at like 190 pounds, 194 pounds, around there in his fights. But yeah, Bridgerweight, I could see him being very successful with his brawling style, but I don't really know who he could face next. I would like to see him fight someone in the top 15 at Bridgerweight, maybe a Herv Hubo. Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, but he's a decent fighter, and if Rozicki were to get a win there, that'd be a decent victory for him and could possibly lead him to another title shot here. But he'll either face someone like a Herb Hubo, or he might fight someone at a lower level opposition like the opponents he was fighting before this fight with Rivas, just to get confidence back and whatnot. So overall, Oscar Rivas defeats Ryan Rozicki by unanimous decision in a very, very competitive and fun fight for the fans. And yeah, this is the first ever Bridgerweight World title fight, and it proved to be an outstanding one. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.